They are on a journey, facing life's toughest challenges.
I'm a 31-year cancer survivor.
I'm here for my family. 6 out of 7 of us have had cancer.
When I found out that I had it, the bigger surprise was I was actually 10 weeks pregnant.
All riding with resilience.
I've ridden 24 years, but I'm 2 weeks cancer-free.
With courage.
I'm able to do it, so why wouldn't you do it and raise a bunch of money?
And purpose.
I said to myself, if I get through this, I'm going to do the Pan Mass Challenge.
This is the Pan Mass Challenge, Everyday Heroes 2024 WBZ Special.
And thank you for joining us as we celebrate the 45th Pan Mass Challenge weekend.
100% of every rider-raised dollar goes directly to cancer research and treatment at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. And this year, we are celebrating a major milestone. The PMC just crossed the $1 billion threshold for lifetime fundraising. Think about that. $1 billion. This monumental achievement proves that when we come together with a shared purpose, we are all one in a billion.
$1 billion. Pretty hard to believe, but tonight we honor the riders, the donors, and the communities who are helping pave the way for a future without cancer.
My name is Julie Lugton.
I'm Patty McCaffrey.
I'm Billy Stick.
I'm Camila Hernandez.
And I'm Rob Obi-Tabit.
And this is why we PMC.
My dad and I were actually both diagnosed with cancer within a few weeks of each other. And after that experience, I wanted to do something to honor what we'd been through together.
My husband was diagnosed with bladder cancer in 2008 and got top-notch care, and we lost him. And at that point, I made a commitment to do whatever I could to support Dana-Farber.
Our son, Leandro, we call him Seba, he was diagnosed with AML leukemia when he was 2 months old, and he was treated at Boston Children's Hospital with Dana-Farber.
I lost my wife, Christine, to a hard-fought battle with pancreatic cancer. I continue to battle for her, and the PMC is one of those ways that I can show that.
I'm not just thinking about my own story anymore. I'm thinking about everyone on the sidelines that's been supporting the cause, every other rider that I've met who's had a story way harder than my own.
When you go from Boston Children's Hospital over to Jimmy Fund and you see the Pan Mass Challenge, you see all the work that they've done, you see that 100% of the donations go to research and helping support that, we had to give back.
It gives hope for others who are battling cancer, who are just newly diagnosed, who have conquered their diseases.
Being a part of the 1 in a billion year at PMC, it really puts it in perspective.
It's an honor, an incredible honor to be able to ride in a year like this, where it's 1 in a billion.
To be a part of raising $1 billion is completely humbling and exciting and wonderful.
It really speaks to the power behind this event, and this year's just going to be a giant celebration.
And to kick off the celebration of hope and resilience, we want to bring in PMC founder Billy Starr. So great to have you here.
Thank you, Lisa. Good to be here.
I know that when you founded this in 1980, you believed in the power of its growth. Did you ever imagine that it would raise $1 billion for cancer research?
I would never have said that in 1980. I thought that to make a legitimate event, and from what I'd heard from my friends in the media, maybe if I could do $1 million in a year, and that year was 1989. But the PMC has a track record of performance. You all know that. And step by step, it became very imaginable. We had our party 10 years ago when we did $500 million. And I could say, you know, if the world were still here, I knew we were going to cross the $1 billion threshold soon enough. So on to the second billion.
And of course, the PMC always sets a goal per year, right? This year, you're looking for another record-breaking goal, $75 million. Last year, you had $72 million. Tell us about the next billion that you just mentioned.
Well, I'd like to put in context that I still expect myself to be on a bike, which is to say, you know, somewhere between 10 and 15 years.
Okay.
That I think the PMC will do that. And what I think people have to hear is just the way that kind of funding can accelerate cancer research and treatment. So we have tremendous momentum here in New England and the entire country, quite frankly. And yeah, I'd expect that within 10 to 15 years.
All right, we look forward to being part of that celebration. Billy, thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it.
Like
Thank you,
all of
Debbie.
us, Billy is watching the weather this weekend.
Yeah, so here's WBZ Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher with a look at the forecast.
All right, David and Lisa, big weekend here. Weather always a factor. Last year was so nice as we got into the weekend. This time around, humidity and heat definitely factors here. We'll be in the 80s on both Saturday and Sunday. We stay below that 90-degree threshold, but it will be very humid, so hydration will be important for us, and we're going to watch the chance for some rainfall. No big defined system, no tropical weather in terms of a hurricane or a tropical storm to worry about, but a couple of scattered showers and storms popping up on Saturday. A little bit of a higher risk on Sunday, also topping out in the 80s for highs. Now, the dew point's critical. We've had a very humid summer so far. This will be a very humid weekend. Dew points will be well into the 70s on both Saturday and Sunday. They tend to be highest during the morning hours, a little lower during the afternoon, but they'll be in the mid-70s for the most part this weekend, and that is really thick air. So again, focusing on the hydration, it's tougher for our bodies to regulate with those high dew points. In terms of the rainfall, some scattered showers and storms on Saturday. I think the risk will be a little bit higher on Sunday. We'll be watching as these develop. We'll keep you updated throughout the course of the weekend, but definitely have some rain gear handy. And of course, if you hear any thunder or lightning, try to seek some shelter, getting out of the way of anything that is electrical when it comes to those thunderstorms developing along the course. And good luck to everybody out there this weekend.
The PMC offers riders 16 different routes. The shortest is 25 miles and the longest is 211.
Now, the most popular routes are the two-day rides from Sturbridge over the hills of central Massachusetts to the tip of Cape Cod and from Wellesley to Provincetown. And this weekend, expect to see those bright red jerseys. The roads are going to be packed with 6,800 riders.
WBZ's Tiffany Chan introduces us to a mother and cancer survivor riding for the first time.
Come August, Sarah Kryofsky will take on her very first PMC, but the ride itself won't be the mom of three's biggest challenge in life.
So I had cancer initially when I was 16 years old, and I had Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Beating cancer not once, but twice. A devastating breast cancer diagnosis in 2021 was coupled with some other shocking news.
When I found out that I had it, the bigger surprise was I was actually 10 weeks pregnant.
Then began the grueling journey of battling cancer with the little one on the way, while also caring for her two young daughters, Amelia and Addie.
It's funny because it's like not anything making it easier, but it takes the focus off yourself and really places it on your baby.
Morning sickness made worse by the toll of chemotherapy and surgery to remove the cancerous tumor. Sarah found the will to keep fighting through her family, friends, and the incredible team of doctors at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute.
The people around you are what make you strong. So my friends, my family, my husband, my kids, everybody just carried me through that time. Yeah. So even when I was struggling, they were just wonderful.
These aren't tears of sadness, but of gratitude. Sarah and baby Annabelle walked the path of cancer together and beat it courageously.
And PMC is what I can do, rather than focusing all the negative that had happened to me and Annabelle.
It's a long ride. Do we think Mommy can do it?
I think it's, I don't know if it's 100 or 40 million.
Yeah, miles?
Pedaling 77 miles from Bourne to Provincetown to give back to the organization that saved her and Annabelle's life.
Saying, okay, I went through this, but now look what we can do. We can do hard things. It's something actually I tell my girls all the time. You can do hard things.
She's living proof, and these girls just couldn't be prouder of their mom.
What are we most excited about? Seeing Mommy cross the finish line?
And raising money for people like that.
From Mansfield, I'm Tiffany Chan, WBZ News.
Wow, what a cheering section.
Precious.
A firefighter on the South Coast is riding the PMC to support fellow firefighters who are battling cancer.
As WBZ's Mike Sullivan shows us, as those heroes answer the call to save lives, they often face invisible dangers in the line of duty.
When danger calls, it comes fast. A firefighter's mind is focused only on the task ahead. Who can I save? How quickly can I be dressed and ready?
Should take you less than 30 seconds.
It's the same routine over and over, from the helmet to the hardships. It's rinse and repeat. There's rarely a chance to slow down. A chance to think about the dangers of the job, the toxic dangers living right inside this suit.
You're putting it on and assuming the risk.
Maggie Rocha was raised around a firehouse. Her father often took her out on his calls.
So it's safe to say that fighting fires is really in your blood?
Yes, you could say that.
She is now a firefighter in Fairhaven. Their work is surrounded by dangerous chemicals in the air, from CO2 to hydrogen cyanide. Their protective suits are made with chemicals linked to higher risks of cancer.
Because it's our job, I think we just do it, and then we shower afterwards, make sure our gear is clean, wash it. We have extractors here which take the chemicals out.
In recent years, they had 2 firefighters die from cancer.
A risk is higher for firefighters in general, so plus I have a family history.
She watched breast cancer impact her close friend, Jamie Pickup. Her battle prompted Maggie to do something, to find a way to raise awareness for the dangers her colleagues face. It's why she joined the Pan Mass Challenge team for the professional firefighters of Massachusetts.
If they can survive cancer, you can get your bike up a hill.
The money they raise will go toward the treatment and research for cancer in firefighters.
There's like a very big movement right now to get our chemicals that are inside of our protective equipment that we put on to go fight fires. We want to get those chemicals out.
Perhaps with a little money and a few miles, they can accomplish it. In Fairhaven, I'm Mike Sullivan, WBZ News.
Now, Pan Mass Challenge fundraising supports research at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute that's improving the quality of life for the patients and, of course, saving lives.
3 months ago, the FDA approved a drug for pediatric brain tumors, thanks to dedicated families, PMC teams, and donations, and researchers who refused to give up.
This is Agenda, the liquid form.
The medicine in this tiny vial represents tremendous hope for many children with brain tumors.
What changes for these patients because of the drug?
We now have options to treat the tumor.
Pediatric oncologist Dr. Pratiti Bandopade, whom everyone calls Dr. Mimi, heads up the Dana-Farber lab dedicated to finding a cure and better treatments for low-grade gliomas.
The majority of children will survive. That's the good news. But the scary thing is that they're living with this for their whole life.
Sometimes, unfortunately, it's fatal.
Dr. Ramin Barukim co-leads Dana-Farber's pediatric low-grade glioma program.
When I look back and judge what have I accomplished, in my life, I'm going to look back at this.
A breakthrough and a partnership with PMC teams and families.
We wanted to understand why there wasn't better research and newer drug treatments for our children.
Andrew Janauer's daughter, Samantha, was diagnosed with a brain tumor at 3.
When your child is diagnosed with cancer, you assume that you're in one of the best cancer institutions in the world, that the cavalry is going to arrive in white coats and they're going to have the answer.
But 20 years ago, there weren't many answers. So the Janauers and 2 other families began funding the Dana-Farber lab. And then AJ was introduced to the PMC.
The best that medical science had to offer our children wasn't good enough. And so the cavalry became us on our bikes instead of horses.
In 2007, they launched the program. Researchers discovered the mutation causing the tumors to grow. And the Dana-Farber team found a drug, essentially abandoned on a shelf, that might treat it. But first, they had to convince the company that gave up the drug for melanoma to let them test it on kids with brain tumors.
Go PMC.
In 2017, the same year we profiled AJ and Sammy's fundraising ride on a tandem bike and her indomitable spirit, PMC donations supported the first clinical trial of Ojemda, the drug the FDA approved in April.
How important was PMC funding in the development of this drug?
It was essential. This drug, this FDA approval, would 100% not have happened without the PMC. Every time I meet with these families, I'm just awestruck by how selfless they are.
How exciting was it for you to find out that Ojemda had FDA approval?
I'm going to try not to cry. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. The journey's not over.
The doctors and their team are now testing drugs to treat other brain tumor mutations, including the one that affects 8-year-old Declan Vale, the inspiration behind Team Brainstorms. AJ and Sammy will ride a tandem this year, and at 23, for the first time, she'll ride part of the PMC on her own, a shared mission that's already saving lives.
And you can see what it says, right? One team, one dream.
And the dream is to have
the cure for every single child.
Now, Ojemda is the first FDA-approved drug for kids with a specific glioma mutation, but it is actually the third FDA-approved drug to come from Dr. Mimi's lab. Nearly half of all cancer drugs approved in the last 5 years have a connection to Dana-Farber.
And to hear her say that this 100% wouldn't happen without the PMC is just incredible. Speaks to the power of this ride.
No question.
Pretty great.
We'll be right back.
PMC Everyday Hero Special is presented by M&T
In memory
Bank.
of my father who passed away from cancer in 2017, and I think of him at every petal I make. I am so incredibly proud that M&T has committed to extending the partnership with the PMC. The community is so overwhelmingly warm and welcoming and supportive, and it is abundantly clear to me that we are now family.
The PMC is presented by M&T Bank. PMC Everyday Hero Special is proudly sponsored by Takeda.
In honor of my brother Ryan. I couldn't control a cure for cancer, but I could control helping to raise funds and trying to be part of something productive. That moment where I put on my Team Takeda jersey, it's my work identity and my identity as a caregiver, as a mom, as a sister, as a friend. It's two important parts of my life coming together in one, and I'm so proud.
The PMC is proudly sponsored by Takeda.
All right, well, ask people who ride the Pan Mass Challenge, and most will tell you the hardest part isn't the actual training or the riding, almost 200 miles, it's the fundraising.
But that is no problem for one rider who has found a unique, if unwavering way to build on a successful strategy.
Charlie Silva makes a living building and fixing up houses like this historic home in Westford. You may know his work.
Let's hit this line first.
For the past 8 years, he's been offering advice to homeowners on the wildly popular show, This Old House. But every other year, Charlie takes on a personal project.
We all know every dollar that we raise as riders, 100% of it goes to the PMC, to Dana-Farber, right? What better cause?
Because fighting cancer got him on a bike and into spandex he swore he'd never wear when his friend's father died of the disease. Team Wilson Farm hit its $1 million goal early, thanks in part to Charlie's fundraising.
I'm able to do it, so why wouldn't you do it and raise a bunch of money?
And now what's your fundraising total?
Just over $300,000.
In just 8 rides.
I have zero problem telling people you haven't given me enough money.
He's a fundraising force who hammers his subcontractors.
I give them a lot of money, and they know that, and they appreciate it. But I expect a good chunk back in return.
He does offer them the option to ride.
Whether it's raining, sun, 100 degrees, whatever it's going to be, but you're doing it. And I'll give you a big check if you want to do it, or you can give me a check and I'll ride. And every single one of them says, I'll give you the check.
The most generous donor gets Bruins tickets. And last year, that donor was Tim Berkey. But it wasn't the tickets that moved him.
I'm a parent who lost a child. I don't want to ever see anybody lose a child or go through the pain that we as a family have gone through. I'll do everything in my power every year to donate as much as humanly possible.
That spirit also motivates Charlie. His every other year ride went out the window in 2024. He's all in on the 1 in a Billion campaign, riding 2 days with his daughter Michelle. And always fundraising.
If you don't know who to donate to, I know 2 people right here. So I would say, go on your computer, pmc.org, Charlie Silva, and also pmc.org, Lisa Hughes. And if I was you, I would donate to both. See, that wasn't that hard, was it?
I love it. Always fundraising. The PMC is Dana-Farber's single largest supporter, and each dollar raised brings us closer to a cure for cancer.
And we want to give you a better idea of how those funds are at work. Out of the $72 million raised last year alone, more than $16 million was allocated for research in pediatric oncology. So what's the collective power of thousands of PMC riders and volunteers and hundreds of thousands of individual donations?
Well, Dana-Farber doctor Craig Bunnell says it helps researchers understand cancer, fund clinical trials, and develop treatments that allow patients to live longer, better lives with the people they love.
Kids who will grow up with their parents, parents who will see their kids grow up and graduate and get married and have children of their own, and siblings who will grow up together, and friends who will grow old together. And that's really many acts multiplied by thousands of people that have transformed the world.
Dr. Bunnell is riding with his daughter again this year. He's a 10-year rider and one of roughly 160 Dana-Farber doctors who ride the PMC.
I was just thinking, he does research, he sees patients, and he does the ride.
Yes.
It's like a superhero.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
PMC Everyday Hero Special is proudly sponsored by MFS Investment Management.
Partnership with MFS and PMC is really electric. So many people are involved with the cause, whether it's riding the full PMC or volunteering at the stops. It's kind of uplifting. You do it together, it's a team effort, everyone builds each other up, and it's just super rewarding. I think when I put the jersey on, I'm gonna be really proud. It'll be nice to actually be doing something for a greater cause.
The PMC is proudly sponsored by MFS Investment Management.
Community of problem solvers and troubleshooters. And when we bring that energy to any problem, we can solve it. And I think our goal is to show people that by working together, we can do that.
I think it's easy these days, especially with social media, to hear the negativity.
We are all in this together, and we can all play a role in finding solutions.
We can all come together to say, this is the place we live. How do we make it better?
The Greater Boston starts with getting answers and building on those answers.
Hi, I'm Becca Sahlwasser, the Executive Director of the Red Sox Foundation and Executive Vice President of Social Impact for the Boston Red Sox.
She's a leader at Fenway, a former pro athlete, a mom, and a first-year Pan Mass Challenge rider.
I think it's time for me to feel the magic of the ride. Firsthand.
Becca Sahlwasser's been a champion of the PMC for years, joining the advisory board, participating in Winter Cycle, and now serving on the board of directors. That and the 72-year relationship between the Red Sox and Dana-Farber inspired her to sign up.
I really felt it was important to actually do the ride to get a sense of what the whole craze was about, why everybody keeps coming back year after year and feeling so passionately about the PMC.
It won't just be her first big ride. The PMC is Becca's first ever athletic endurance event. This athlete is used to games. A lifelong soccer player, she competed at Brown and in 2003 went pro with the Boston Breakers. Competition second nature, even on training rides.
I try to go as fast as I can. I see somebody, I'm like, all right, just pass them. You know, and like that competitive side of me, I'm worried that that's gonna get me in trouble, that I'm gonna wanna ride fast and make it a race for myself.
So you're gonna have to try to dial it back.
I'm gonna have to try to dial it back.
Which may be its own challenge. Becca's husband, Zach, and 3 kids, Calvin, Nico, and Evie, will be waiting to hug her at the finish line in Provincetown, where she anticipates the thrill of achieving a shared goal.
I'm actually more excited about being with the collective group of riders when I'm done, to have that unanimous, united sort of sigh of completion and success.
It is an amazing feeling. The Boston Red Sox are co-presenting sponsors, the foundation of the PMC, and this year's jersey is going to pay tribute to former Sox CEO and Jimmy Fund president Larry Lucchino,
who did so much. Yes. Well, one of the most emotional parts of PMC weekend are the pedal partners.
Now, the program pairs pediatric cancer patients with teams riding the PMC.
It was August 2021, 3 days prior to her diagnosis. We were on the Cape. She was collecting hermit crabs and playing in the ocean. And that afternoon, she was experiencing some stomach pains. And so we headed to the ER that evening, and the ER doctor and nurse came in and told us that we weren't going home. We learned that she had bilateral Wilms tumors. Within 24 hours, she had her port inserted and started chemo that evening. Never in our wildest dreams would we ever imagine our 5-year-old at the time had cancer.
Kieran got diagnosed with leukemia in February of 2023. Kieran was in the hospital for 35 days. Once he got home, after about a week and a half, we were told that he was in remission, but that we still had 2 years of treatment to keep the leukemia away from his body.
Originally, she was diagnosed in 2019 with pineoblastoma. Completed her treatment that year, and then Her cancer came back in 2021, so we've been actively in her treatment plan since then.
I feel like I'm a part of a bigger family at the Dana-Farber Institute Jimmy Fund.
The love and support that we've gotten, in addition to the, much needed life-saving treatment that she was afforded, it's had a huge impact on Emily's life, on all of our lives.
We're getting treatments. He's handling them really well. The leukemia hasn't come back, and so we have about another year of treatment to go.
We went to the Pedal Partner tent in Lakeville last year in August, and we got to see a lot of other families that were going through what we were going through, and the kids got to interact and hang out. So it's nice to see that. I mean, we see that at the clinic as well, but it's nice to know you're not alone.
So we were teamed up with Team Duncan. That's how we met Chris, who we now consider family. She's the team captain.
We feel like the inspiration that we get from the family inspires us to raise more money and continue to drive ourselves.
Inspired by me.
I'm so inspired by you every day, every moment. The journey's not over yet. It really is a journey, and we're so excited to be part of the PMS Challenge in Dana-Farber.
The PMS Challenge, raising $1 billion for Dana-Farber and the Jimmy Fund, and that's why he's able to get the treatment and the medicine. The money's the reason why, so.
And we're just so thankful to stand and look around at all of the PMC riders, knowing that they're there for the same cause that has touched us so personally. We feel blessed, honestly, to be part of something so much bigger. They're there raising money to make sure that we have the necessary medical research and funds to hopefully get to a point where we've got cures for all sorts of cancers, or perhaps no more cancer.
I don't know where we would have been in this moment in time if it wasn't for Dana-Farber and the Jimmy Fund and organizations like PMC that help to fund everything.
What PMC means to me is hope for a cancer-free future.
What I would like to say to the riders, volunteers, and donors at PMC is thank you, thank you, thank you for everything.
Thank you so very much for everything that you are doing for all of the kids and families like ours.
Your impact is something that you'll never fully understand. From the bottom of our hearts, we're grateful.
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for everything that you do.
We wouldn't be here without your generosity, so we appreciate it and thank you.
Thank you.
We want to thank PMC founder Billy Starr for everything that you do. And Billy, what message do you have for all of the riders?
Well, look, this is Now We Ride. That's what we say as we approach our weekend. And you, the watching audience, we're already above $45 million or more. Go to PMC.org. Make a donation in support of somebody you know. Over 350,000 people will be supporting a rider this weekend. Don't be left out. Thank you all. Be safe.
Excellent. And thank you. Thanks for being with us for this year's PMS Challenge Everyday Heroes Special. And fellow riders, good luck this weekend.
Good luck to the both of you. WBZ is proud to partner with the PMC. And remember, as Billy mentioned, still time to donate. Please visit pmc.org.
Am I live? Am I live? Okay. All right. On behalf of Lisa and myself, WBZ, the Red Sox, MFS, all the great sponsors, M&T Bank, thank you for being a great audience. You know the message tomorrow. Not a race. Be smart. The weather forecast, even for Eric Fisher, that was a little negative, I got to tell you. I mean, we're going to start out here tomorrow. It's going to be 70 degrees. That's not bad. It's going to be humid.
And it's not supposed to be raining when we start.
I don't think it's going to. I'm carrying rain gear. You're carrying rain gear. Carry rain gear.
Hey, a quick thing. Breaking news. We're over 45 million.
We are over 45. I believe, excuse me, by midnight tonight, we'll be touching 50 million.
Woo!
And I know year to year, you hear me throw a lot of numbers, but we're up. We're up year to date. We're up. It's interesting. We look at the data. Last year's events, 2 days different, but we're up at least 5% and maybe as much as 8 or 9. So that's Very exciting. Everyone is doing their part. Thank you. As a friend of mine said, and I say my friend Richard, who I can see here, in 1988 when we got rained on, he brought a friend from Miami, John Masucci. I still remember the line. He looked into the camera and he said, "We're psyched, we're here, we're going to sweat and get wet." And that's what I wish for all of you. Have fun. Have a great night. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Good night.
Thank you. Oh my God, it screwed up again.
I've seen him on the TV. I think he likes his ladies all sweet and sugary. I'm partial to a pudding, but that's for second course. The main meal and the others must be smothered in hot sauce. They call her hot sauce. She's hot and spicy, but twice as nice, although she burned me up. They call her hot sauce. She's hotter than pepper. I heard her get her, although she burned me up. Nicey, although she burned me up. They call her hot sauce. She's hotter than pepper. I heard her kept her, although she burned me up. Oh, what a steamed in skull. When will the story be told? She sat and smoked the fire while I was gagging on the shag. Shag against your eyes. Yes. Let me get lost in your sauce. Let me cover me in your sauce. Let me get lost in your hot sauce, woman. Attending, smoke pouring from her nose, state of mind depending on which way the wind blows. Chili and Tabasco dripping on my shirt. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't see. I had to call a smuggler. Smuggler! Oh no, not a smuggler! It's called Pulp, P-U-L-P. And it is my mind that my young people today